All right, so like I said, I wanted us to revisit that estimation video because the class we'll do today is talking about assigning resources on MS Project. And you cannot assign resources without, without accurately estimating your time and your cost. So everything you're going to be doing in MS Project, if your timing and cost estimate is not accurate, you will not get the right report at the end of the day. Don't forget where our destination is. By the time we are done in the last class, is to be able to generate reports that are accurate and we can interpret. Is to be able to get cash flows that can go with our project and viability analysis. When you are talking with clients, you attach your schedule, you attach a cash flow. You don't need to be an accountant. The software just generates it for you because you have imputed accurate data. Now, there's something I didn't say last week, which I am going to talk about today. For the software to calculate your start date and end date automatically, I always advise people to put your project on auto scheduling. Auto scheduling automatically helps the software to calculate it for you automatically. I'll show you all that today. So let me skip all of these. We have looked at this in the last class. This was what we started looking at in the last class. So I'm going to continue on this today. Okay, this was the assignment I gave last week. So number 2 today, what are we doing today? We are assigning resources. We are assigning resources to MS in MS Project. Okay, so 23 minutes. Now, but before I go into assigning resources, let me talk a bit on this schedule compression technique that we mentioned very briefly last week. Somebody asked that question. I wasn't sure. Banker, are you in class today? Okay, Banker is in class. Okay, yeah. Welcome to class. So now, schedule compression technique, right, is a way I want us to just pay a bit of attention, because why I want us to pay a bit of attention is because on our training schedule, if you look at it, on day 2, we're supposed to talk about critical path. You can't talk about critical path without talking about the network diagram. So this explanation I will give now will lead us to understanding those two concepts. Now, a schedule compression technique is a way of reducing the total duration of a project, or is a technique applied to bring an activity or series of activities back on track, especially if the activities are on the critical path. Now, like I say, just underline the word critical path. I will explain it in a short while. When you are managing a project, sometimes for no fault of yours, sometimes it could be as a result of, a risk you couldn't identify, or even the client coming to impose something on you that may cause you to meet a timeline for an activity. The first thing you should do when you have that kind of case is to go and check if this activity that has just lost track because of a risk like rainfall, something, or a rework that you didn't envisage, or the client coming to tell you. I gave an example last week when I was managing the project. The man was building a 3-bedroom flat, and the family was supposed to arrive from UK for Christmas in 2nd week of December, only for him to say the date has changed. They are now arriving 1st or something of December. I can't remember. And the project was compressed by 3 weeks. If you have that kind of case, I say the first thing you do is to go to your network diagram, which is what I will show us today. Look for your critical path. Check if the activity that is in question is on the critical path. If the activity is on the critical path, that is when you will use the schedule compression technique. Unfortunately, if you use it where the activity you are compressing is not on the critical path, number 1, you have either wasted your money and resources crashing, or you have put yourself under unnecessary risk crashing, because it will still not reduce your project duration. So it's a way of reducing project duration. There are 2 techniques. Number 1, fast tracking, right? Fast tracking is a technique where activities that would have been performed sequentially using the original schedule are now performed in parallel, right? So when you look at your original schedule, you are scheduled that, okay, one should finish before another one should start. But all of a sudden, you discover that it won't work anymore because the duration has overshot the timing that you were given. You will now need to go and start putting activities in parallel. Let me give us a practical example. Mr. Johnson is here. We were working on a project. We're planning a project. In the last 1 week, we'll be planning a project. So yesterday we agreed on a project. It's 48 months. Am I correct, Johnson? It's 48 months. And by the time we finished yesterday, this morning when I sat down to tidy up the project, I discovered that it was now 48 plus about 7 months. It now went to 55 months, which is above the 4 years we were given. So I now asked myself, what is the reason? And I discovered that there were a lot of activities were put to do that didn't cater for the yearly training. It's actually a training project. So year one, you train this, year two, you train this. They wanted 4 years training. So I now said, okay, for me to recoup the 6 months or 3 months that I used for preparation, I will need to now overlap year one and year two, year three and year four, year five and year six. So initially, let me just show us something since it's a practical example I'm giving now. Initially, this was what we were supposed to do. It's a project. We are looking at a project to train 10,000 youths. Training of 10,000 youths. That's the project. I think we said year one we'll do 1,000, year two 2,000 or so, year three I think 3,000, year four I think 4,000, right? So the way I did it last night was this. When we finished training 1,000, once training of 1,000 ends, we start training 2,000, we start training 3,000, we start training 4,000. Each of these training has a duration of 12 months. Are you getting me? Which gives me my 48 months. But I now discovered that when I studied the documents that the training experts produced, I discovered that they needed to do things like, advertisements in the newspaper. They needed to select training centers. They needed to do screening and all that. They needed to collaborate with Carbon, collaborate with NIOB. All those collaboration took about 4 months, which has eaten into this. So by the time it ate into, sorry, let me use red. So it ate into this year one. So I ended up pushing year one into this. By the time I also push this into this will push into this. At the end of the day, the duration of this one now added. So what did I have to do? I now say no. Since I already have 4 months gone before starting my year one, year two must overlap with year one with 4 months. Year three must overlap with year two. And this, I had to find a way to make sure through consultation that what can we do so that while this training is still on, we can onboard the next training. This is a project. And remember, I told us that a project is anything that has a start date and end date and has an objective to achieve, right? So what have I just done? Is somebody, you can unmute yourself and answer. What did I just do?
You fast track the project.
I just fast track.
Is to apply. What you did was you applied the compression techniques by using the lag.
Okay, yes, that's one way to say it. But in context with the topic I'm teaching now, I say fast tracking in a project means the activities are worked on simultaneously instead of waiting for each piece to be completed separately. So what I've just done now is to fast track. You will see the disadvantage later. Now, when you need to compress a schedule, you should consider this technique first, because fast tracking does not add cost to the what, to the project. It simply rearranges the activities in the original schedule, which is what you have seen me do here with this training project, just to make sure that I compress my duration, which at the end of the day went to 55 months. I compressed it back until I get my 48 months, because that's what the clients wanted. 48 months. Okay, more guys have come to class. Welcome to class, Chimeze. Welcome, Esther, to class today. Welcome, Technosis 16. That's Zamfara, right? How is Plateau today? Thank you. All right. So you consider this fast tracking method first, right? So those of you just joining, don't worry, the video will be available to you. We've not gone so far. Now, although fast tracking may result in not result in an increase in cost, right? It will lead to increase in risk. For example, what I've just done with this training now, they may start the training and the risk may be that while they are trying to round up the training and because they have forced them now to commence the another 2,000 training, it's possible that the last 3 months of the 1,000 training may not be, attention may not be given to it. So it's left for them now to go and look at the risk register and work on risk mitigation strategies. Now, because activities now being performed in parallel may need reworking. So you may now have people who may not have achieved what you wanted them to achieve. Now, reworking of the project, if the project manager is not careful, you may end up wasting the time you wanted to compress simply because your risk mitigation strategy failed you. Am I too fast? Am I too fast?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. So Intola has gone up. I hope it's not a network. Oh my God. Okay, so those of you, what I've done, I have 3 networks here. I have 3 networks. So sometimes it can be very, very frustrating, but I can understand. So I hope she will come back on again. So it's because of her, I wanted to take it a bit more slowly. She's not a construction person, but she's coming into project management. And she just registered this morning. But because she's not here now, I will just be very fast, because those of you here, you already heard me say this last class. I'm only re-emphasizing. So as a project manager, you must weigh the pros and the cons of fast tracking, right? To see whether the risk is worth taking or not. Now, let me quickly look at, crashing, of course. When you're fast tracking, you have done it. Now, you can use crashing on its own. But most times, what I do is that I never start out using crashing. Sure, I tell guys that if I tell you to compress or do something, faster, and the first thing that comes to your mind is money, it means you're not a good project manager. You should not think of money first. So because crashing means, okay, I'll have to do this, or yeah, give me extra 10,000, give me extra. No. So crashing can be used in combination with fast tracking. So as much as you can, try and fast track first, and so that you do not have to spend more money for your client. Now, if the fast tracking have gotten you to a level where you can no longer fast track, you can now crash. If you now crash at that moment, you discover that the money you will spend may now be smaller than what you would have spent if you didn't consider fast tracking at all. So when you have not saved enough time, you can now begin to add resources to your project for the least cost possible, right? Good. So like I said, in the last paragraph, you have to look at the benefit of completing the project within the shorter possible span. If the benefit is not much, for example, the client I gave you, example is because he said that if the house is not completed, when they come, is he going to be lodging them in a hotel? So we have to sit down and look at the benefits of rushing the work and all that. So eventually, we have to now look at that. In summary, fast tracking involving performing this in parallel. Let me skip all this since I'm going to give you the slide. Now, I'll also skip Gantt charts. Now, let's look at critical path. Identifying your critical path. identifying a critical path. Now, every task on any project is important, right? But some are critical. Some are critical. The ones that are critical are the ones on what we call the critical path. And the critical path is a chain of linked activities. The activities on your critical path usually are linked. So I'm going to show us an example today, shortly. Now, they are linked and they affect the finish date of the project. So when you identify a task on the critical path, first, I look at my end date and see all activities that contributes to the last activity. What is the very, very last task that must be performed in a project before the project can close? Look at that task and see all the other tasks that are linked to it. Sometimes let me show you something. Sometimes your MS project, if you do it well, can actually show you a critical path. Can I look for a smaller project? Okay, let me look for something smaller. Let me look for something smaller, right? Just a minute. Let me look for something smaller that I can share. Okay, let me see if this works. Can you see my screen, please? Is my screen visible?
Yes, but tiny.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, somebody said, but it's tiny. So let me see if I can increase it a bit.
No, it's visible. It's visible.
It's visible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Just reduce it a bit. You can see my predecessor. Now, this is the end date of this project says it's actually ended. It's an old project, so don't worry about it. The end date says what? 22nd? No, not 22nd June. Let me go to my project and just get my project information. I showed us this last time. The end date is actually, can we see, is this visible? It's ending 15th of July. Can you see? The start is May 6th, no, June 5th and ending July 15, right? So what I'm explaining is that, what I'm supposed to be is that I will go to any task that has July 15.
Ma'am, are you calling me?
So I have to mute us now. So I'll go to any task that has my last date here is actually August 1, right? It's actually August 2nd. So I'll go to the task that has that August 2nd. Where is it here? I think it's 8.2 plastering, right? Plastering and then marketing and contingency. So what I'm going to do is that I'll go to this plastering, it's under drainage. So I will trace it on the Gantt chart. Can you see this is it here? Can we see my cursor, this black cross?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, we'll do it. So I will just go like this and actually trace. Can you see this small arrow linking here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will trace it, go back up, trace it. What I'm doing now, I'm looking at every activity links to this one that has down my final date, which is August 2nd. I will look at the path. Can you see the path now? So all these activities here, right, are the activities I must take seriously. Can you see? They are linked together. They are linked together. I will show us a faster way of identifying later. Can you see they are linked together? Because they are linked together, they are the activities on my critical path. So I'm sharing my slide again. So, and usually, like I said, the critical path is the longest part of our network diagram. network diagram, sometimes it can just be a single task anyway, but most times is a network of various tasks. Now, the task that makes the critical path most times are interrelated by task dependencies. What are task dependencies? Who can remind me? It can be finish to start to start, with a lead, with a lag. Once you connect those dependencies like that, they are linked together. And if that's the longest path, is your critical path. Now, a project cannot be complete until the last task on that critical path is complete. A project is not complete until the last task on the critical path is complete. So what am I saying in essence? Critical path, you must take it seriously before we go into assigning resources. You must take it seriously when you are using your lead, your lag, and your schedule compression techniques. You must take your critical path seriously. Now, critical path, sometimes you can do your network diagram manually. Like I just showed us, you can identify it manually. You build a network diagram, identify all the possible paths. Then the path with the longest duration is your critical path. I will illustrate this shortly. I just want us to go to our practical before the time goes now. Now, for complex projects, like I told us, that's what MS Project is for. Projects that are long, it can be a 1 year, 2 years. I just told us about a 48 months project, which is like 4 years. 4 years is like, even if we are doing 200 days active, that's like 800 days. The number of activities, I can assure you, will be over 500 or 1,000 to be performed. You cannot do it with your natural brain. That's why you need it. So simple. To identify a critical path, go to view, Gantt chart, then choose formatting, then you select your critical path, right? Now, I want to just finish my slide quickly, then I will just exit the slide and we'll start using our MS project. Now, to start assigning resources to your project, you must get a BOQ, a Bills of Engineering Measurement, or an M&L schedule. Now, let me come back to this. Let me just go and show us this on MS Project. Now, before I go, you can use the chat box to raise up your hand. How many of you were able to you have any project? If you have, not everybody, just a few. Let me just know the kind of project it is. Let me know whether to continue with my own. What I did before this class, I had a discussion with Mr. Dennis, and he advised, something I didn't think about was to drop the MS project we did in class, the one on the platform, so that those of us who couldn't get any activity can get it and use, right? So if you came with one, just raise up your hand. Let me see. If you don't know where to raise up your hand, you can just unmute and let me and talk, or you use the chat box. Okay, Mr. Johnson. Who else came with something? Like I said, it could be imaginary, it could be a live project. Okay, Esther submitted something to me. So, Esther, I got your submission. Okay, nobody else came with something. Okay, for those of us that didn't come with anything, you can. So, Mr. Johnson, let me lower your hand now. You can use the one we're going to use in class. So, Mr. Johnson, please, can you unmute? Let me know the kind of project you came with. If you are not using your phone and you want to share, let me know. If you cannot share, drop it on the platform. Let me download it and look at it. But while you are doing that, you can just hint me, let me know what kind of project it is. Then I will know whether we can use it in class or I should continue with my own.
Okay, what I came with is a construction of 3-story building.
3-story. Are you using a can you share or you want to send to me on WhatsApp? Let me share. Let me
share. Let me try sharing.
Just try. Let me look at what it is like. Then maybe I will use your own to do some corrections. When we are done with the correction, then I can now project my own so that we start the class.
This is what I did. I want to know if it is showing.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
What version of MS Project is this?
I think this is 2013.
2013. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So scroll to the end. Let me see. Good. Now let me say something for everybody to go to the top. Can we all see Mr. Johnson's screen? Let me just get two response.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, can you see Mr. Johnson 1.1.1? Can you see that arrow there? That pin that shows that it's manually scheduled. That thing shows it's manually scheduled. Can we all see it? So Johnson is mixing between manual scheduling and auto scheduling, which is not advisable or good for you. Go down, scroll down, keep scrolling. So you see manual, then now you now have auto scheduling, right? So
Yeah.
now let me tell everyone the disadvantage so that you will know it's advisable that you auto schedule your project. I told us about a project last week. Last week I gave at the last class rather that we started a project, then all of a sudden it now halted. And we stayed for like, is it 2-3 months? And then we were supposed to now continue the planning for the project. So I had to change all the dates. Now, it was a very complex project. Now, because it's a complex project, it will take me days to sit down to reschedule to start changing all the dates afresh and reassigning the resources and doing a new cash flow. But if my projects were manually scheduled, do you know that I will have to do it manually, all the adjustments? So the advantage of auto-scheduling your project is if it happens, because they are all linked, all you need to do is to change the start date. As soon as you change the start date, everything automatically changes depending on your duration, and even your cash flow readjusts itself. So it's advisable for you to always auto-schedule your project, right? Now, this is a very good first attempt. I can see your percentage completion column out. I can see your predecessors. Everything is linked together. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, Mr. Chimeze, I got your message. Sorry about that. Now, so I will make the video available for you. So just get as much as you can. Then the video will be available for you. So, Mr. Johnson, can you stop sharing your screen now? Let me show everybody how to auto-schedule their project. And then we can now continue with today's class. So what I am going to do now is I'm trying to see if I want to open the project we used last time. My screen will soon come up. Okay. Can we see my screen yet? Okay, I'm finding it difficult to share that particular screen, but just give me some moment. Okay. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay, so it's coming up now. Can we see my screen now? Can we see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Great. So now what Johnson did is what I have here right now. This column, you can see that there's a mixture of manual and auto scheduling there. So this is what you do, right? You can select each of them and auto schedule them differently. Can you see what I just did? Is my screen clear enough? Let me make it slightly. You can unmute yourself, please. I want to hear us. If you are not in a noisy place, unmute yourself.
Yes, this
Can
your
you see
screen
my
is.
cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yes, we can.
So watch what I'm going to do
Yes,
now.
sir.
Task mode. I have highlighted everything. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I'm clicking auto schedule now. Can you see that?
Yes.
Once I click it, can you see everything has changed to the auto schedule sign, right? And all my dates has also changed to depict my start date. Don't forget that last week, can you remember how I set my start date? Who can remember? If I want to change my start date now, who can remember how do I change my start date?
You go to projects.
Project.
Yes. Then you now go to calculate project. Calculate project. You go to calculate project.
I am there.
Click calculate project. Then make changes.
Mr. Johnson, you go to
Yes.
project information.
Okay. Okay. Project
Use this
information. Okay.
arrow. Then
Okay.
the calendar, let me set it to start on the 19th. Once I set it to start on the 19th, Wednesday, 19 July. Once I click OK, everything changes to 19 July here, right?
Yes.
Now, watch what I am going to start doing now. Everything is auto-scheduled to start on the 19th because it is waiting for me to interrelate the project together. Please, I don't want anybody to lose me here. Madam Feintola, I know you're supposed to go somewhere by 5, but just give me the time. Let me finish this session. You need to be here for this session. Now, mixed paints. What is the duration? I want those of us who have experience with painting, or you can just imagine how many days. What do you think the duration of mixed paint should be?
1 day.
1
should
day.
be enough.
Good. 1 day. Enter. Can you see still remaining? Start is still 19. End is also 19 because it's 1 day, right? Now,
Yes.
it is the first activity I have there, so there's no predecessor for it, right? Assuming there's a place, assuming we included buying of pens in our schedule, then we would have a predecessor. Now, erect scaffold. How many days will it take to erect scaffold? Let's assume for a 1-story building.
2
3
days.
days.
2
3
days.
days.
Now, Check what will happen when I click enter to the start and end date. What's happening there? It's starting on the 19th and ending on the 20th. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
But let's assume, like I told you, always link or relate your tasks together so that it can be connected. A critical path is shown to you only when your activities are interconnected in a network. That's how we call it a network diagram. We call it a chain link. So you need to chain them together. So even if I want them to start on the same day, I will still go and put a relationship and say start to start. Do you understand? Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
So what I will do now, let me assume I want to finish mixing pen before I start erecting scaffold. Let me just do it that way. I don't need to do it that way, but I just want to show something. So what I will now do is, if I want to do a finish to start, what is the number for mixed pens there? Can you see it's 2, right?
Yes.
Mixed pen is 2 on the spreadsheet there. So I will go and do 2 finish to start. Can you see what I just typed? 2FS.
Yes.
Once I do that, what's going to happen both to my date and to this bar? See where my bar is, my Gantt chart. So I am clicking enter now. 2FS, enter. What has happened?
They are linked.
That's linked the two activities.
That's 1. What else did you notice? What else did you notice?
Changes.
Yes,
You
sir.
did changes.
What? What
The
else?
date changes.
The date changed. How did the date change? From
19 to 20.
now, it's automatically, because I have used that auto schedule, it has put itself immediately after the 19th. So it's saying if mixed pen finished today, scaffold directing should start tomorrow. Can you see that? But if I don't want to waste that day and I want to do it simultaneously, if I want to fast track, what do I do now? Who can tell me what to do if I want to fast track? Please
You
wait.
now introduce lag.
Mr. Johnson, not you. Let me look for another person in this class. I have not said anything. Either Esther or Mr. Kennedy. What should I do? If I want to fast track, or if I want to put a 1-day lead. Putting a lead means you are sequencing them to be done in in parallel, right? Rather than
Hello, sir.
yes.
We set 3FS minus 1.
2. Good. I will now do 2FS
Yes.
minus
Minus 1.
1. Everybody, I want to press enter, but before I press enter, I want you to put your eye on the bar, the Gantt chart area, and see what is going to happen. And to the bar and the date. Enter. Can you see what just happened? So the bar has shifted backward, but it's still linked. So that interconnectivity between your two activities and tasks is very important, right? Now, it is now linked. And then your date, instead of starting on 20th and ending on 21st, automatically is now starting on 19th and ending on 20th. So you have saved what? 1 day. Right? Now, so let me move to the next thing. The next thing is prepare wall. I will not work on prepare wall. You know why? Follow my cursor to the Gantt chart area. That sign you are seeing there means prepare wall is a summary task. Whenever you have a summary task, you don't work on it. You assign resources and estimates, duration and cost. You assign them to the sub-task. That summary task, prepare wall, has 3 sub-tasks. what are there?
Dry was screening and prime codes.
Dry was screening and prime code. Good. So if I want to now schedule or do predecessor and all that, or put material or put cost, I will do it to dry was screening and prime code. As I am doing to these three, it is affecting the summary task. So let's go ahead now. Drywall. How does drywall relate to mixing of paint or erecting of scaffold? There is no one correct answer to it. Who can attempt? How can we relate it? Like I told you, I don't like that standing alone. You can stand it alone if you want to create a different network diagram for it. But most times it's advisable if that task is not your start date, just link it to the one that has your start date. So drying of wall, can it be a start to start with mix of paint? Or we should just allow it to have a life of its own? So I think I want to do it start to start. First, what's the duration to dry this wall? Let's say it's 1-story building. Should we allow 1 day, 2 days? Let's assume it's if it's like December to February, you may need lesser time. If it's about this time, you may need more time, right? So let's assume, so this time now you can see your assumption now. If you have watched that my video on estimation, there is what I call basis of estimate. Please and please go and watch that video. You fast forward it to where we have basis of estimate. I think, did I share the slide of that class? I'm not sure I did. If I did, go to the area where I have basis of estimate. I want you to go and watch that part. There, I mentioned a lot of assumptions that you should make that can form basis of your estimate. So for drying of this wall now, one of my assumptions is, what time of the year am I in? Let me assume I'm in December or I'm in February. That means within 2 days, a story building wall should be dry after plastering. What do you think? Can I use 2 days duration?
2 days is okay.
It's okay. Good.
Yes, sir. 2 days.
So now let me link it and say start to start. So let me do 2 SS. If I do 2 SS, so that while I'm mixing paint, the work can be drying. So it is still starting on the 19th and ending on the 20th still. Now the screening will obviously be what relationship? Esther or Mr. Zamfara, what relationship will screening have with the drying of wall? From the last class, what is the relationship? Just try. Anyone, you can be. You can use 2 relationships. It will still be correct. Now, let me just explain this before I answer. Now, before you answer, drying wall and screening of wall can be related. I can put it a finish to start because I know wall must dry before screening starts. So what's the number for drywall there? 5, right? So I can do 5 FS. Watch the bar and watch the date. What's going to happen now? Can you see? But screening, let me use 3 days for my screening. Can you see what has happened to my network diagram, the Gantt chart area, and the duration? It has scheduled it to start on July 21 automatically after the drying of the wall has ended on the July 20th. Because I use a finish to start. No lead, no lag. No lead, no lag. But let's assume I want to use you can still do it this way. I can do it this way. I can do 5 SS and say plus maybe 3. So I can reduce it to, if I say 5 SS plus 1, since I know where I want. Do you understand? Yes. So, but the best relationship is if you just do your finish to start so that you don't stress yourself. If you want to, can you see it's starting immediately? If you want to wait 1 more day, you can do 5fs, right? Watch, and then put a lag. A lag means +1, right? Can you see? Instead of starting directly on Friday, it has skipped Friday, which is 21st, and gone to Monday. That's because in our project setting, I set that we don't work weekends. You know, you can go, can you remember how to set it now? You can go and set public holiday, and you can go and set that you don't want to work weekends also. So that is that. But for this relationship, I think finish to start is just the best. Screening of work should start immediately after the drying of work. Then prime codes. How do I apply prime codes? I think I want to apply it as 6 finish to start. Let me allow a 1-day lag just in case this screening, has issue and I need to just do some corrections. So what I've done is prime code, let's say 2 days. 2 days may be too small, but it means I want to add more research. So instead of it starting on July 25th, it's starting August 1. Who can tell me the reason why? If you're in the last class, who can tell me the reason why? Can you see this? Can you see this lag I have here? Can you see my arrow?
Yes.
Can you see that the gap is very wide? You can tell me what do you think is responsible? I did only 1-day lag, but see what it has done. Who can tell me what is responsible? Who can remember what is responsible? We did something towards the question and answer session of our class, last class. Mr. Sukomi, are you in class? I need an answer. Okay, Sukomi, you are in class. Can you answer, please? Why do you think that gap is wide?
I'm just joining the class now.
Who can tell me why it is wide? Madam Banker, do you want to try?
I don't know. Maybe we have public holidays.
Beautiful. That's what I want to hear. You know why I call Sukomi's name? Because in the last class,
That's the question.
Good. Sukomi was one that asked the question whether there's a setting we will do at the back end. And I say yes. While I was doing the lecture, I remember choosing 26, 27, 28, if you remember.
Yes.
And now I have applied 1-day lag. So what is because I forgot that there was public holiday. If there's public holiday, I will not have applied the lag. Do you understand? So what I cannot even do if I want them to work on that public holiday is to now do 6fs. Instead of doing +1, I can do -1 and apply a lead. Do you understand? Do you understand what I just did?
Yes.
So that's why that gap was there. I applied a lag and there was also public holiday. So let me just make it an automatic.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I sent it in the chat column. I don't know if you looked at it.
Okay, yeah.
When you asked the question,
what days?
there was a comment there.
Okay, holiday, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So sorry, I missed that. My attention was okay. What I will do now? Let me keep my chat box in a dialog box beside me. Okay, beautiful. So anybody who drops a chat now, I'll be able to see.
That boy.
Sorry about that. Somebody needs to mute. Okay, so that's great. So let's quickly move ahead. Can you see that immediately we finish scheduling this now, can you see that the summary task itself has given itself duration? The same thing will happen to the cost. And in this case, the sum of the individual tasks is equal to the sum of the summary tasks. Reason is because there was no lead. If there was a lead, for example, let me go to screening and do maybe 5 FS minus 1. Let me apply a lead there. And also come and apply a 1-day lead, 6 FS minus 1. Watch now. Can you see this part of the bar? Can you see the relationship now, right? Now, if you can see the relationship, you can see that all the activities are now having a parallel relationship. Because one does not have to end before another one starts, check what I have done now. I have compressed my schedule. Can anybody see? I need at least 2 or 3 people. Unmute yourself and relate so that I will know that my network is still on.
Yes.
Now, so let's count the individual task now. 2 plus 3 plus 2 is what?
7 days.
But what's the summary task saying?
5 days.
What it means is that I had compressed my schedule by how many days?
2 days.
By doing what? By applying lead. On activity screening, I applied a 1-day lead minus 1. On prime code, I apply a 1-day lead minus 2. That's what's responsible for saving me those 2 days. Can you see why I decided to ensure that we understand lead, lag, crashing, and fast tracking before coming here? Because you can practically apply it here. And for a 1-story building, it's actually possible to do dry wall and screening in parallel. A part of the wall may be completely dry. The part that probably on the north side may be drying faster, or on the, which one dries faster? Those of us who are good with our weather, is the east northern side, Abi? Eastern northern side dries faster than southern western side. Am I correct?
Yes.
So you can start screening that part of the wall before you get to the other side on the second day. It has also dried. Then the side you started screening first, you can start priming there before you get, so you can actually go back as a project manager, study your weather, study everything, and actually go back and actually apply your leads properly and fast track your project. So I'm happy that this is practical enough. So for now, Esther, I appreciate your submission. Mr. Johnson, I appreciate your submission. But because this my project is short and easy to relate with, let me just use it so that we can move faster with our class. Then let me move now to applying of pent. Apply pent is a summary task. So let me look at the subtask. Second quote. How many days will second quote be? Second quote and priming, which one should take longer for a 1-story building? Priming. So, but for purpose of not taking too much space, in case we don't finish for 1 day, let me apply 2 days for second quote. Third quote. I don't know why I gave it, but let's just assume that third quote. I don't know why. Maybe there is polishing or something. Do you understand? Do you know that some people who polish their wall after painting? You know, right? So let me just break it into 2. The third code, application, and then polishing. Am I correct that people polish wall after painting, the third code? Who is aware? So that I won't be fabricating something. No?
Yes.
Very good. So on this third code now, I've separated it into application and polishing. So my third code, let's say, is 1 day. Since it's my last code, it's very fast. Then let's say my polishing takes 2 days, right? Can you see? So let me go and do the task relationship now. Second quote has to be what? Finish to start with the priming. Priming is 7. So let me do 7 finish to start. Then applying of the third quote, let me do it 9 finish to start. Then polishing, let me do it 11. Can you see where I'm getting 11 from? 11 is the application. Are you seeing my Gantt charts? Can you see network and linked, right? Good.
Yes, sir.
So then, of course, to clean the environment, let's just say 2 days. Let's say you need to work on the tiles too. So let's do it after polishing, because that polishing can be sticky on the ground. So it takes a lot of time. As a matter of fact, let me use 3 days for cleaning because we are polishing the wall. A wall that is polished, the floor will take longer time to clean up if care is not taken when you are polishing. So let me do 2FS, right? Now let me do 2FS. Can I apply a lag? Do you know why I want to apply a lag? I want to apply a lag just in case if the polish is not well dried and is sticky, even it is easier to clean when the polish is dry. You can just peel it off the ground. So it's good you actually allow a lag so that the polishing that probably dropped on the ground will actually become very dry so that it's easy to just use a scraper to scrape off the ground. So that is why I am allowing a lag. So when you watch that my video on basis of estimate, you will see it will inform you. So actually, that free training on estimation and scheduling techniques that the video is on YouTube free is if you will actually do better on MS Project if you watch that video actually. Because now the reason I've given for applying my lead and lag is based on some assumption that is called basis of estimate. So let me just do the planting of flower bed. Let's say our flower bed, where do we prepare bed now? Let's prepare bed since it's outside. Let's prepare bed when we are polishing. So let me do it, or when we're applying the last coat, 11. Let me do it 11 starts to start. So when that starts, this can start. And the duration of, let's say, 2 days. My adding of soil is 1 day, add manure 1 day, plant flower 2 days. So let me link add soil as finished to start with prepare bed, 15 FS. So let me just do this fast now, 16 FS. Planting is 17 FS. Can we see let me compress, see where my cursor is right now. Can you see this minus arrow? Just the way it is in Excel spreadsheet. Can you see it? Can we see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In case your project is very big and you want to just make this your bar smaller, you can just click it. So it's smaller now so that you can see it in one place. Any question on this part before I go to showing us how to identify critical path here?
Yeah, sorry, please. I didn't see your cursor.
I didn't hear you, sir.
Okay, please. I didn't see your cursor. Now. The part you use to reduce the size of your.
Okay, yes. I say go just like
please.
Excel, where your Excel minus and plus is the same way here. Can you see? Zoom in. Can you see? In case you want to print for your client and you want it longer, can you see? Can you see cursor now?
No, I can't do. I don't know.
Can anybody else see? Let me be sure. Bottom
Yes, sir.
right. Bottom right.
Okay,
So
fine.
check the, okay.
Yes, bottom right is okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yes, so you can reduce it. Sometimes when I'm printing, if the project is large and I want to print on A4, you know, I may just want to I can keep reducing here the way I'm reducing now. I can just reduce this, my columns. I can reduce it this way, Then any column I'm not using, I will drag my Gantt area to go there. Then I can either make it bigger for me or just make it, I can even make it, very tiny. Can you see? I can make it very tiny.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into assigning of resources, if no question, right? If no question, right? Let me show us where we were on the PowerPoint was how to get identify your critical path, right? If the project is complex, I've shown you how to do it manually before, but if the project is complex, you go to your view, you choose Gantt and format. Now, for here now, what is our end date? Go to project, click on information, end date is 15th of July. So I will now look for the activity that is end date 15th of July. End date cannot be 15th of
10th of August.
I'm trying to see. Okay, August 10, right?
10th of August.
10th of
Yes.
August. So let me go and look for the task that has that 10th of August, not among the summary tasks. I can see the summary here is 10th of August. So let me go and look for the task that has that 10th of August. Where is it? This is the culprit, clean environment. Did you see the culprit now on number 13? So I will go and look for that culprit. Can you see the culprit here? This bar, right? Right? Can we see it?
Yes, sir.
So I will now go and trace it backward. As I'm tracing it backward, every activity here, I cannot play with it. All the activity here, I cannot play with it. If I play with it, it will affect my end date. So this is one network diagram. Now, this is the second network diagram here. It's not linked to this. It's not linked to the activity that has the end date. So on a more complex project, you can have several network diagrams. So I have diagram 1, I have diagram 2. There's another one there, but it's a bit complex for me to show you. But if you want to get the, how do you call it now? If you want to get the critical path here now, you go to your, can you see where I am? Gantt chart format. Can you see where this is 2019? If you're on 2010, Mr. Johnson, you have to click and make sure your Gantt chart view is activated. So look at this place. If your view is not in Gantt chart, look for view and change it to Gantt chart. Immediately change it to Gantt chart, you now go to Gantt chart format. When you go to Gantt chart format, can you see critical task there? Can you see critical task? My cursor.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. I have clicked it. When I click it, what did you see happen? Can you see what's happening?
Yeah, the color change. The color changes to orange color. So.
Beautiful. So the tasks that are in red right now, are the most important activities. Don't play with them. If you have extra money and you want to spend it on these activities. That's how to identify it. Now, if I take my cursor to that activity, what is it showing me? It will show me the name and it will show me the properties, right? Can you see what's just appeared on that box? Is somebody hearing me? Did you see what just appeared there? Can you see it?
Yes.
What can you see there?
Like a zero with arrows or something.
No, read. There is something there that just appeared when I pointed at that task. Is it too tiny for you to read?
Can't see anything readable.
Okay, if you are with your system, can you try what I just did and then read it for me? I'm on number 5. Let me read what is there. What is there is when I pointed it, it said task is drywall. On top, it said critical. He now put the start, he put the end, he put the duration for me. Can you see this? The very first one too. Mixing of paint is critical. It means if you miss your deadline, you are putting your project at risk. So the summary of what I want to say is this. If you want to apply your lead, apply it on all these activities. If you apply it on the other activities, you're only wasting you're only taking risk for nothing. It doesn't add value to your project. If you spend money on the activities on blue now, you have just wasted your money. It doesn't add value to your project. If you want to spend good money and have value for your money, concentrate on the tasks that are highlighted right now. That is how to identify them. Does everybody understand this? I want to hear from everybody. Unmute yourself and answer me. Does everybody understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to be sure everybody has followed me to this point, please.
Yes, sir.
Or you can drop on the chat box. I want to be sure that everybody has. Mr. Zamfara, are you following me? Okay, let me continue. So I am out here now, so I can uncheck.
I'm following, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So I am unchecking my critical task now. Can you see everything is back in blue? I now know my critical path. So for this project, I can even take a list of it, give it to my supervisors and tell them if you play with this. So if I am not on site or I'm not on the project area and somebody call me to give me a certain report, the first thing I will ask the person, is this activity, is it on our critical path? Before I would have made it known to everybody the task that we should never play with. Now, if you want to do lag, please don't apply lag. I'm going back again. Don't apply lag on any of the activity that is showing as red right now. Do not apply lag on those activities. All right, great. So right now, let's go to assigning of resources. Now, the first thing, right, to do when you are assigning resources, if you want to take note, you can just take note, but I think it's in the slide. There are 3 things that you must know. You must have your BOQ or material and labor schedule. You must populate your resource sheets. Then you assign resources to subtask. I say you must what? Have your material and labor schedule. You must have your BOQ. You must populate your resource sheet. Then you start assigning tasks. So because it's a small project, let's just quickly use this as our example. Now, because it's a small project, I will not need a BOQ, material and labor schedule, or a BEME. Now, why I advise people to always get a BEME is because bills of engineering measurement is crucial, because if the project is very complex, Mrs. Banker is a QS here. Even she will admit with me that she will not be able to give a client an accurate estimate if they don't get the engineer to produce a BEME. Mrs. Banker, am I correct?
Very correct.
Good. Because that is the document that will actually break complex part of the project that you can't see with a physical eye. It breaks it down. If you watch down my YouTube video on estimation technique, what I say there is, when you are handling WBS, keep breaking down all your subtasks to the lowest form of the work package. The lowest form is the place you get to where you can easily allocate time and cost without being ambiguous. If you get to any point where the ambiguity is high, it means that activity should be further broken down. Just the way we got to applying of pen, second coat and third coat, and I asked my client say, you are Polish, common sense will tell me not to just allocate a task or duration to third coat. Because if I don't break it down into what the nitty-gritties of that third coat, since it includes polishing, I may not accurately estimate the time, and I may not accurately estimate the cost. So let's quickly start. To mix pens, the first thing is we must know what the materials we need, right? Am I correct? So if we are professionals, right, let's start listing the material. Now, what I want to do now, this is important. Check where my cursor is hovering around. Where is my cursor hovering around?
Gantt chart.
Gantt chart. Now, can you see where it is now? There's a tiny arrow there, right? Can you see that arrow? You can use the chat box. If you can see that arrow, I'm clicking it now. Can you see a list that just drops down?
Yes, sir. Resource names.
Good. Now, I am going to resource sheets. Can you see resource sheets? I am clicking it now. Can you see what just appeared?
Yes, sir.
Good. So for ease of population, I will advise people to populate the resource sheet task by task. Task by task. If you populate it task by task, it's easy for you to say whether it has been listed before or not. So the first thing there is to mix pens. What do I need to mix my pens? Let's assume we are not producing pens, we are only mixing. So can I just say maybe what do I need to mix pens there? Can I just say 20-liter buckets pens, right? Then maybe I need water. Maybe I need, what else might I need? Maybe pigment. Maybe you want to apply a little pigment.
Toner. Need toner.
Toner. Good. I'm assuming this is white pen, 20-liter buckets pens. Let me use white, just in case I may need another color later. Right, so now, what type is this? This is a material, right? So let me change it to material. Can we all see? I'm changing it to material. I'm changing it to material, right? Now, can we remember how I changed this, how do I put it now? This cost to Naira the last time. We can remember, right? Yes. We can remember how I changed to Naira. Did you write it down? So how much is a bucket of pens? Let me just, for the purpose of this class, let me just use 15,000, right? Water. Water. Let me price water, maybe water. Let me just price it for every 20 liter. Let's assume that we are using Mera. Let me price it at 150. Pigments. I don't know how much they sell pigment now, but let me use 6,000. Toner. Let me use 1,500, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going back to my Gantt, right? Right? And I'm going to my resource. Can you see where I am now? Resource. Assign resources, right? I'll click on the task I'm assigning resources to. This is it. Pens. How many pens do I want? We assume it's how many pens am I mixing? So the mixing, let's say we assume we are mixing let's say 10 buckets. Pigment. Let's say we need how many pigments to mix this paint? Let's say we are buying 3 colors. Toner. Let's say we're using 2 persons to mix. So let's just give them 2 toners. Water. Let's say we need how many Merua? Let's say half truck. Half truck is 6, Abi? 620 liter. Can you see that it's already populating your cost for you? So what am I going to do now? I will close. Can we see what's happening here? The class has gone quiet too.
Yes, sir.
We can see, sir.
Okay, so
I see.
let me reduce a bit so that we can. Is it too tiny? Are we okay like this, or I should increase it back? I want to be able to view more. Mr. Johnson, can you confirm that you can see?
Yes, I can see, sir.
Good. So what can you see now? Can you see that under this mixed paint, it has put all the resources with it, so that at a glance you know that, oh, for this mixed paint to 20 liter bucket, I need 10. Pigment, I need 3. Toner, I need 2. Water, I need 6. Do you understand? So that just in case this your column is not out, you don't need to bring this column out, right? So I can just hide this column and look at it here. Then if I want my cost to appear, right, I will go and choose. Now, for purpose of this class, right, how many of us know what estimate at completion is? Is my board visible enough? Is it bold enough?
Yes.
Can you see what I'm writing? Can you see what I'm writing?
The marker is fainting.
The marker
It's fainting.
so let me use black. Is it clearer?
Yes, sir.
What did
Yes.
I write there?
AC.
AC means actual cost. EAC means estimates at completion. At completion. Estimate at completion. BAC means budget at completion. So that you can, if you are in a project management environment where they use project management terms, and some things are on the MS project, somebody, your project manager or program manager or director who is a project person can just tell you, please, can you help me check what the estimate at completion is, or estimate to complete? Most CEOs and most portfolio managers are usually CFOs are usually interested in this last one, which is estimate to complete. Estimate to complete. Now, what's the difference, right? Estimate at completion is what the accounts people will call the budgets. That's their estimate at completion is your budget. Estimate at completion is your budget. That's how much you set out to spend on the projects. how much did you set out and plan to spend on the project? That is your budget. And that is what you call a project management terminology, the right term for it. As a project manager, when you're on site, don't be saying, oh, what's the budget? What's the budget? What's the budget? That's for accountants. As a project manager, those of you that have done your PMP, I know a few PMPs here. What you should be saying is, what's the EAC? What's the estimate at complete? It's the same thing as what's the budget of the project. That's at the end of this, what did I plan to spend? The actual cost is what you have spent so far. What you have spent so far. I'm taking time to do this because each of these columns on MS Project has each of these. You can bring them out and be seeing it as your project is moving. Well, that's part of what we're going to do next week. That's where we're going to round up this whole class before we start generating our cash flow. Now, budget at completion, right? Let me explain budget at completion. Sometimes on individual tasks, right, you may plan to spend X and you will end up spending X plus Y. If you plan spending X, you may end up spending X plus Y. Now, when you spend X plus Y now, you have what we call your variance. Your variance is by how much you have overshot your EAC, your budget, right? So X plus Y is what you have spent. By the time, let's say X plus Y is equal to Z. By the time you do your EAC, which is what you plan to spend, plus your variance, what you have spent, by how much you overspent, that is now your budget at completion, BAC. So when you hear a project manager language change from EAC to BAC, when I'm on that kind of project, by the time I know somebody who knows project management, talking about budget at completion, I don't need to look at their statement of account to know that they are over budget. So once anybody begins to use this language, it means they have already gone over budget. Budget at completion is usually greater than what? Is usually greater than budget. Sorry, please. Budget at completion is not your EAC plus your variance, please. Budget at completion is your how much you have. Yes, I'm correct. Sorry. EAC plus variance. Then estimate to complete. Estimate to complete is now your what? Budget at completion minus how much you have spent so far is equal to your estimate to complete. So now, don't worry so much. In our last class, we will demonstrate it practically. So what it means is this, right? Watch. I set out to spend 500K, right? But now I have spent 100K extra. So 600K becomes my what? 600K becomes my what?
Budget at completion.
Budget at completion. Right? Now, if I know that I have overspent by 100K, but right now, maybe what I have spent right now, actual cost is that I have spent maybe 400K I set out to spend 500K, but along the line, something has happened and 100K has been added. But so far, I have only disbursed 400K. You know, it's possible to have finished the project, but you are still owing, right? Good. So you can say that actual cost for me now, that's the money I have paid out, is 400K. But the actual money I am supposed to pay, which is my budget at completion, is 600K. So the accountant will now need to know estimate at complete will now be what? 600K minus 400K. So my ETC will now be what? 200,000 naira. Even though it was supposed to be what? 100,000 naira. So 100,000 naira will be treated at variance. Now, you know why I took my time to explain this? because I want to bring out a column now. And what I want to bring out that column is what I call, can you see, there are a lot of cost items. Yes, some of them are not too relevant for project management, but program and portfolio management. But the one that is relevant here are the ones I've explained. So what I need now is, since I am still doing my budget and I have not started the project or I have not started tracking, what I need right now is my EAC. So let me bring my EAC out. I will scroll down to where I have EAC. So right now, you don't need to be asking yourself question again. I've explained what EAC is. Can you see what has come out now? Can somebody answer whether you can see?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So I have brought out my EAC. So now you don't need to ask me what EAC means. That's why I took my time to understand, to explain before this. This EAC means what I plan to spend. So as I am allocating my resources now, mixed spend now is 171,900. That is what I plan to spend. Do you know what may be responsible for me to start bringing out my BAC? Let me go back to my resource sheet. Watch where I'm going now. I've gone back to my resource sheet. I priced 20 liter at 15,000, pigment at 6,000. If during the course of the project, 20 liter goes to 17,000, what do you think will happen? I will now need to bring out my BAC, right? Is someone following me? Is someone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because
Yes.
obviously
Yes, yeah.
my EAC will no longer be what I'm going to be talking on site. I'll now start talking about BAC, but for purpose of tracking and project performance measurement. Oh, okay. I have another class I'll plan very soon, but it's not in this class. I want to teach what we call CPIs and SPIs, schedule performance indexes and cost performance indexes. Now, some of these things, we did this in project management to go and use to become PMP. But at the background, if you master it in practical and in theory, you can actually just be walking on site and smiling and giving some instructions. People don't know why you are giving the instruction, but it's because you went to MS Project, you checked out CPI, SPI, you are seeing what people who are on ground on the project are not seeing. Do you understand? So it's very, very, important for you to know the difference between EAC, BAC, and how to apply them. And you just click, on one click, it gives you a good perspective. So let me be faster now. I have less than 15 minutes. Now, erecting of scaffold is what I want to assign resources to now. Erecting of scaffolds. So what I can do here, right? What I can do here, let me assume I am not erecting, I am not going to, how do I put it now? I'm not going to buy anything, right? I am going to
Rent.
I am going to just rent. So I can just apply an amount. So let me bring out, there's a portion called fixed cost. So what you use for that is your fixed cost. It will still be adding to your total project money. So let me go to F. F is fixed cost, right? So that one, the cost of renting is fixed. I can just use that column to assign resources here. Fixed cost, yes, I'm there. Can you see? So every item can actually have a fixed cost. Do you understand? Now, if you want to build in contingencies, Madam Banker is a QS. Okay, I know Mr. Dennis is a big project manager. You can actually, even after assigning resources here, you can go and actually just put some fixed costs, maybe because of some, maybe, how do I put it now? How do I calculate it now? Let me see some risk. You have seen a trend that maybe cement every one week, cement goes by 200. You can actually do, okay, I have 1% increase every one month. You can actually do that here and put it under fixed cost. See where you will see that. I'm back to projects and I'm back to project information. I'm clicking statistics. Everybody watch that. Remember, I click statistics, there is something here that shows me that this shows me a summary of my project. This actually, in short, this shows me a summary of all my baseline, cost baseline, schedule baseline. So it's telling me this duration is 14 days. For now, the cost of this project is 171,900 because that's what I've applied. But let's assume we are renting this scaffold for maybe 200,000 or 50,000. Let me use 50,000. I can now type 50,000 on my fixed cost, and I don't need to go and apply material. Can you see that it has appeared on my EAC? If I do this, my project statistics again, it has increased my baseline, cost baseline from that 191 to 221. Can we all see it?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, like I keep encouraging us, let's not be perturbed if you can't grasp it. I've had experience where people can't grasp it the first time. That's why this course, I have planned it that I'll do some kind of 2 weeks tutelage. So at every point in time, you try this thing by yourself and you get stuck. As in the next 2 weeks, you can DM me. The 2 weeks starting is actually starting from today. You can DM me. I will give you not more than 30 minutes, not more than twice a week. You understand? It's part of what we are paying for. Please help me announce to other of your friends. The next time I will do this is actually going to go for 30,000 with this 2 weeks tutelage. But if you are just going to attend the 3 days class and go, we don't have business again, it's 15,000. So for now, because usually you may not grasp it in this first class, you may thought you have grabbed it, but when you want to now apply it in one complex project, that's when you will see that, oh, there's something here, I should have asked this question, I should have asked this question. And then you cannot come back to me if you don't buy the full bundle. But for this class, you can come back to me in the next 2 weeks if you practice and you get stuck, and I will give you the answer for free. If you exceed that 2 weeks, it will now be consultancy. You pay for the service. So don't worry if you don't get it. In the next 2 weeks, you can DM me. Now, let me go faster now. So erect scaffold, we understand the reason why I didn't go to resource sheet now. Drying of wall too. Do I need to apply resources? Let's say we want to buy a dryer to have on site, or I can just apply a fixed cost for maybe. No, drying wall, I don't even need to assign resources. Let me use natural, right? Let me spend 0 naira there. You know, it's actually possible. You don't have to spend money on all of the activities. In short, the money you have spent is it lag? I say we should put there to drywall now. Oh, I've removed the lag, or I haven't used lead. So do you understand? But this is assuming I am doing the project in what? Between December and February, right? But if I'm doing the project in rainy season, I may want to spend a little money to get artificial drying or blowers, right? That's one. Or I apply lag if the client does not care about time. If the client said, I don't have money to give you to use artificial means to dry my wall, then you now tell the client, the only thing we'll resort to is to apply what? Lags. So you can now apply lag so that you have 0 budget for drying of wall. For screeding, so let's go to screeding now. We must go to apply resources here. So I'm going back to resource sheet. So please, those of you who have experience, let's quickly start listing the resources we need here to screed. Let's say we need white cement. What else do we need? There are actually
top bond.
There are actually some of these organizations now who come up with fine products. I'm trying to remember one that advertised to our office. Who was here when that person came to advertise? And what they do now is they package it in small bags too. It comes with as a water sealant and screeding too. You just mix it and then you just start screeding. You don't need all this plenty material. You need top bond, you need water, but because I already listed water before, I won't list it a second time. You see, that's the good thing with this MS project. You don't need to keep listing like your bill of quantity, and each time you need to price something. You know, you have to mention all the material again. You don't need to do that here. All you need to do when you want to assign is the same water, but you assign a different unit to it. So can I just assume we don't need more material?
Screeding paint.
Screeding paint. So let me change it. Don't forget to always change it to material, please. It will affect your units assigning at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do now is white cement. How much do they sell it now?
9.5.
9.5.
9.5. Yeah.
Okay. What am I doing there? Okay, material is 9.5 now. 9,500. Top bond, how much do they sell it now?
4.5.
Okay. Hey, how many kgs is that one? That must be the one.
For
It's about
5
6,000, it's about 6,000 naira. The 3 liter that Mike bought for me the last time. Screeding pens. How much do we sell it now? How much did I buy it? Who has an idea? Let me just use 10,000 for purpose of this class. They are different grades anyway. So that we don't waste time, let me just quickly go back to my Gantt chart, and I will now go and click resource, assign resource. I will click the task I want to assign first, so don't forget. I must click what? Screening. I will now go to screening. Top bond. How many do we need? We're assuming 1-story building. Screening pens. Let's say I need 4. Top bond 2. Toner. No, I don't need toner. I need water. Let's say 220
No, please, you need a toner. You need a toner.
Okay, I need a toner. So let's say, look, but I can leave it 0 since I already bought a toner. Let me not assign cost to it now, right? So that unless if they have spoiled it, but maybe I have more penta. So let me buy 1 additional to the 2 I bought before. You know, I already bought 2 when I was mixing my pens. So white cement, let me buy how many? 2, just for the purpose of illustration. Now, sometimes, let me, I finish assigning, let me close now. Can you see it has applied all the material and it has calculated it by itself? So because let me just go back, right? And just describe my material well, because it looks quite vague here. So this white cement, let me say it comes in how many kgs? 25, right?
25 kg.
So that the top bond, I just assume that it's going to be what I'm doing to be able to edit is to double click. Let's say I'm buying the 3-liter top bond, then the screening pens. Let's say I'm buying the
20 liters.
20 liters.
Liters.
Yes. Okay, right. So I can go back to my Gantt chart. So that's 72. Can you see my baseline EAC is changing? I don't have any fixed cost here. So let me just move ahead. Dry. Or what we can do for now, so that we don't sometimes my fixed cost, I can just add my labor cost to my fixed cost. So for now, so that I can populate my mixing of pens, let me just put that I'm doing 10,000. You can go and apply that at the back end yourself. To drywall, I'm spending 0. Let's say this grading, I'm doing it at 15,000. I'm just fixing the cost. Priming, let's say I'm priming at 12,000, but priming we need material. So what do I need to prime? Priming is white.
Scraper.
White. Yes, so let me go to my resource sheet, right? Now, some of these things, for this painting, I want to ignore things like scraper, brush, and all that. Let me assume the labor and paint will cover for it, right? So let me just buy white. Don't forget this one that I mixed here, right? Are the colored paints, right? So let me just buy maybe white cement. So I don't need to assign material here. Let me go back. I don't need to populate resource sheets here. I will only go to my Gantt chart and just go and buy to prime. Let me go to prime and assign resources. And assign resources. Prime, assign resources. Sorry, please. Assign resources. So all I need is buckets here. Let me just buy maybe 3 buckets of white pens to prime. Did it change? It didn't change. So can you apply? I didn't buy 2 units. Unit, let me say I'm buying two, right? Assign. I've clicked assign now. Then I can, okay, can you see it has added up there? 30,000 has added to my 12,000. It's now 42,000. Now, second quote, let me just go back here and No, I don't need to. I don't need to. Again, I already put there. Let's say I just use 3 here. Assign, close. Let's say my third quote. I want to be a bit fast now. We have 5 more minutes. I'll buy 3 also. Assign. You can change it later. I'll share this with you. You can change it. Then polishing. Have I bought polish? Let me go to my resource sheet and add polish. I don't know how much polish is now, but it's a material. And let's say we're buying it at 5,000. So I am going back now to my Gantt chart. I'll click on polish, go to resource, assign resource, polish, and I'll buy, let's say, 3 of these. I'm assigning, and then I'll close. It has added there. Let's say I'm paying 5,000 extra to polish as my fixed cost. Application of third quote, let's say 5,000. I'm just doing this for the purpose so that I'll be fast. Clean environment, no material. Let me pay a fixed cost of 5,000 to clean my environment. Prepare beds. For the purpose, you've gotten this. So let me just use fixed cost for all of this. I'm supposed to go and put sand there, actually, topsoil. Do you understand now? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what I'm doing now? I just want to be fast. I was supposed to go to my resource sheet. So when you finish, delete this my own. How do you delete? You can come here and just delete, right? So what you will do is go back and describe your plants there and pick it. Maybe yellow bush, red acalypha, whatever you want to plant, put it there and then go and pick the unit. Let your own appear under resource. Do we understand? Your manure, please buy it in wheelbarrow. So when you come to let me just do, when you come to resource sheet, just click manure, and then you just change it to material, and you just price a wheelbarrow, let's say 500. I don't know how much it is now. You understand? So that's what you should do your own, please. But for now, let me just use fixed costs so that I can you see my total budget now? If I want to know the baseline now, project information statistics, can you see my cost? This is the budget of this budget baseline now is 516,700 naira. So the reason is because painting out of this 516, painting the wall is 486, while planting of flower is 30. If you add 486 to 30, that's how we arrive at that baseline of 516,700. Okay, everybody, I want to stop this class here today so that I won't go too far and we will not be able to practice it. We will continue in our next class. Are there any questions before I give you what your assignment is for the week? So I will stop sharing now, and I will save the work. I am sending it to the platform now. Any question?
Okay. Thank you very much for the knowledge shared. The way I want to ask question, for example, labor. There are times the labor rate. For example, as you are engaging a painter now, and the painter are collecting rate. Let's assume they are collecting 5,000 naira per day, and you are engaging 10 of them. So is there a way we can put it without using fixed rate, the way you just put as fixed rate? The way we put aside resource, is there a way we can assign it the way we did for material?
Yes, there is. You can go to that resource sheet and instead of choosing material, you can choose work and put the unit in hours. There is another way to do it. There are 2 ways. I'll show you the other way in our next class. But you can go to that resource sheet. You know, when I when I list my material, I will change it to material. So you can leave it at, I think, work. Then the unit will be in hours. Then you can apply, then you can pick it there. Then as you are picking, I think, let me see, have I shared detail? When you look at my Gantt chart, you will see the way it's appearing. You will see that, okay, so I'm trying to share it now. So if I share this now, just ignore the one I shared earlier and just work with this one I'm sharing now. Okay. Okay, it should be dropping on your WhatsApp now. Great, it's shared. Any other question? Am I still, let me check my chat box. No question in the chat box. No hand is raised. Any other question? I'll try and share the two videos before Wednesday. Just give me till Wednesday. Let me share the videos. And anytime you are confused about anything, don't forget that you can barge in on me. I don't have privacy for the next 2 weeks. 30 minutes per day max, 2 times per week max. All right, if there are no more questions, can we call it a day or an evening? All right, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. Thank you.